Good morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you see this. This is Dee with Older INFP-A Assertive Insights, and I'm going to do one of the last few of how INFPs in any type of relationship get along with other types. And today I'm going to talk about the ISFP. And I'll be honest, I only know one ISFP, and that is my youngest daughter, but we do have a lot of fun. And I'm again on cue. Excuse me a minute, I have to drink some water. Maybe I won't cough so much, but yeah. So this channel, if you're new, is about everything INFP, regardless of what model we use. But yeah, INFPs, they're the type. Just I put the ending to the beginning this time. Try to make it short. Let me know what you think, what your experiences are with ISFPs yourself. I may be totally wrong. I'm just basing off my my sample of one that I'm aware of, my youngest daughter. But they're the type that are your really great support. And they keep you grounded, which is why we like them. They have a lot of feeling. This was my child where I didn't have to punish her. Out of all the three children, and the other two used to get mad because I didn't, put them on restriction, or all the other things I had to do with the other two. This one, all I would have to say is whenever she did something incorrectly, all I'd have to say to her is that I was disappointed in her. And and then what would happen is that she would just well up and cry. And that was punishment enough. That tore her feelings all to pieces. And back then, 40-some years ago, she was born in 81, do the math. We didn't know all this stuff that people know now. You just parent the best way you could, and I was a single parent, so, but I did notice I've never had that happen to me with anybody my whole entire life, that she would just, I'm disappointed in you. And then she would just say, I'm sorry, and get cry, like just seriously cry. And I thought, well, that's punishment enough. I won't ground her or anything, because it hurt my feelings, that it hurt her feelings. So, so yeah, they have big hearts. She wanted to, as a child, she and the neighborhood boy down the street were going to rescue all of the dogs and cats in the world, and probably other animals. We lived in the woods, so probably squirrels and everything else too. But generally speaking, I know they talked about dogs and cats. We're going to rescue them all and have a refuge for all the dogs and cats, so none would be euthanized. And they had a way of going about doing that. That's where the difference in, like, we'll say, well, that's maybe INFP and not. But she is a sensor because she does keep me grounded. Actually, for my Fitbit watch, I got a Fitbit watch when my blood pressure was out of control a couple of years ago, and so I could wear it and monitor, make sure what was going on at all times. I got kind of really freaked out, and I couldn't set it. I don't know the right word. I'll just say set it. So she came over and did that for me. But you have to sync it with an iPhone, which I don't have. But she does. So my stats go into her phone, but she's too far away from me for it to read. So those types of things. I know she's a sensor. She's a labor and delivery nurse. I think you've got to have attention to detail when you're going to do deliveries. And she's done hundreds and hundreds, and probably well over 1,000 by this point. Over 20 years of doing it. So yeah, I say ISFP. So So she is, I have the closest, I feel like I have the closest relationship with her. It's because I think our feels, we get in the feels with each other without even talking. We don't have to talk, we just have to be in the same room, and the room changes to a feeling aura, a feeling vibe. Even though she does still make fun of me for different things, which I've told her stop. But she thinks it's funny. Um, yeah, there's that to it too. Let me take 1 second for some more water. But on the flip side, the ISFP, I'm not going to make this too long. I have a funny story at the end. It wasn't funny at the time. The ISFP, my study sample of one, even though they are supportive and they are in the fields, they do have the fields, and they can get us to feel like we're understood and supported. They are the kind of person that also will hold your hand as you're walking into quicksand. They'll walk with you into quicksand. They're not the type to say, this isn't a good idea, don't walk there, it's quicksand, you're going to not be able to get out. They will gladly hold your hand and go with you into it. So you've got to, INFPs have to be aware of that. And ISFPs, I think, need to be aware that INFPs will be easily drawn into you because you do seem to understand some of it's just a vibe. I can't explain it. We don't get touchy-feely around each other, but there is this calm feeling vibe. And if you've been around ISFPs, you'll know what I'm talking about, or should anyway. But what do I mean by walking into quicksand? No, I have not literally walked into quicksand, but close. My story is what happened was that when I was living in the mountains, and I was up at an amusement park in the mountains where I was the director of a food pantry, and we're members of United Way. United Way decided to have their annual fundraising kickoff at this amusement park. So it just so happened my daughter came. I think she was in college at the time. She came to stay with me a few days, and she was there, so I took her to this event, and because it's at this amusement park. And so after our meeting part and the eating, the meet and greet and the eating and all that you had to do, you could go and do what you wanted to at the amusement park. Okay, so from the base point, I'll call it base point, to where the rides and all the amusement park was up a hill, and you could walk up the hill. It was kind of a steep grade, or you could take ski lift, chairlift. I am afraid of heights. No chairlift for me. I wanted to walk. My ISFP daughter, which I will say is my whatever daughter, my whatever child, she's still that way. She's just like, whatever. Could say something to her to try to help her out, or when she's growing up, like, get off the couch. Can you do something? And she's like, whatever. Miss Whatever was not about to walk up the hill, which is probably maybe a quarter of a mile. I mean, it wasn't like just a few steps. It was on up there, but it wasn't that long a thing. I'd say maybe a quarter of a mile. She was not going to walk it. So I told her how scared I was, and she said, I got you, Mom. I got you, Mom. I'm laughing because it's still traumatic. This was back in the 90s. I was still thinking about this. And what she talked me into, she said, I got it. I'll be right there with you. And these were the kind of old chair lifts, ski lifts, whatever you call them now, that where you sit and just a bar comes over you, but you can slide out. It's all metal. There's nothing, your feet are dangling, and you're just hanging on one rod thing, one piece of metal that's going down a zip line thing. There's nothing sturdy about any of this. There are a million ways to fall out. But she said, I got you, Mom. Don't be silly. We're going to go. I got you. I said, okay, you're my support. You're my support, because you know I'm terrified. I was hyperventilating and everything, because I do not like those things. And I'm not going to get on another one. So we got in there, got on. Well, I wasn't looking. I just looking straight ahead, trying not to think. We got to maybe 10 or 12 feet high. We got too far. It was too committed to bail out. But about that time, I heard this whoofing sound. I heard this, I don't know if you can hear that, me doing this. I heard this whoofing sound, like that, and I turned and looked beside me, and it was my daughter having a full-blown panic attack. So as I can't stop laughing, but I didn't know what to do. I didn't know whether to be scared or to be angry, or I froze, and I started sweating all over, to the point that I didn't want to sweat too much and slide out of the chair, but I couldn't hold on because my hands were too sweaty. And I'm thinking, I'm going to get you when we get to the top of this thing. So yeah, we got to the top, and we had a good time. And needless to say, she didn't balk at me saying we are going to walk down. We're not going back down this chairlift. She agreed to walk back down. So yeah, so they're the type. They are very pleasant people. They, for introverts, they seem to have friends. She has a lot of friends, even though she likes to stay alone. Knows a lot of people and keeps up with a lot of people, and she's friendly. But they got your back. They've got your back. As I said, they'll hold your hand and lead and walk with you into the quicksand. Just beware of that. They can keep you grounded just to a point. We are so alike that we have our own anxiety things that you're anxious with. Maybe an ISFP is not the best person to take with you to get over a fear. They might be a chance that they have the same fear or worse. So yeah, I just wanted to tell that story and tell about the ISFP. And ISFPs, please don't drag us into your drama. If it's something you can't do, it's okay to say no. It's okay to say, I'd like to help you, but I can't for this. I know you're generous, and I know you're the loving, sweet kind of person in my experience, but it's okay to say no. So with that, just put your comments below. I'm about through with these. I don't know whether or not I am going to do. The only other one I've left to do would be INFP with an INFP. Not sure if I want to do that one. I think everybody would unsubscribe. Not that it would be bad, but I think we're so much alike, we can see, you can figure it out if you're an INFP. And I may do it later, but yeah. Put your comments below, like, share, subscribe, and until next time, this is way long. Till next time, everybody, stay safe.